What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk about something that's a little sensitive to a lot of guys. It's paint and body work on their cars. I've been on Facebook and stuff looking around at some Fox Body pages, and a lot of you guys are having these cars repainted right now. And I've seen a lot of nice cars that are really being turned into trash by some of these body guys. So I've got some panels laid out on some racks here to show you what I've been seeing on Facebook about some of these shops that are doing these cars. And I've got one that I've been doing on the Project Big Red. Now, I'm not saying my way is the best way. I'm not saying it's the only way, but it is the correct way. These cars are 30, some of them 40 years old now, and I see a lot of these guys, some of you guys out there paying some of these shops good money, and all they're doing is essentially sanding down the top coat, putting on some primer and painting these cars over top of 40-year-old paint. Now, I do realize some of you guys are on budget, and I understand that and I respect that. But another aspect to that is also you're paying money out of your pocket to have a job done that's not being done correctly. I understand you have a budget. Some of this work is fairly simple, like stripping a panel to bare metal that's got 4 and 5, 6 coats of paint on it. That's the car's been painted, 5, 6 times over 40 years, and some of these shops are just sanding them down and priming them and painting them. That's it. A lot of you guys get your car back, it's shiny, it looks good, and until somebody that actually does paint and body work looks at the car and points some stuff out, a lot of you guys don't see that when you pick it up. So when you just essentially sand these cars and paint them, there's a lot of low spots, and I'll show you what I'm talking about on these panels, that a lot of you guys don't know what to look for when you pick your car up. A lot of you just get excited because you got your car back, so you're not really picking at the car because it looks, it looks good. It's not going to last because they're putting it over top of old paint. Now, a lot of these shops are banking on the fact that, you love your car, you're going to keep it inside, so they don't worry about, the car because, it's going to be garage kept. So, a lot of times they'll get away with this paint job for 3 or 4 years, but then all of a sudden it starts cracking, it starts peeling, because you got to have a good base for what you're doing. If your paint job doesn't have a good base, it's just not going to last. So I'm going to show you these panels that I have done. One's a fender that I've kind of sanded down with what I've seen people doing online prior to priming, and another one is one that I've stripped to bare metal. Now, keep in mind, this car I painted in '96. Prior to that, it had some minor front end damage, so it had been painted half of the car in the front also before I painted the car. This time, I've taken the car down to bare metal. When I did the car 40 years ago, or not 40, excuse me, when I did it 24 years ago, the car had good paint on it. You could paint over top of what was there. But now this car is 85. It's pushing 40 years old. It needs to be stripped, and that's the correct way to do it. I understand, again, if you're on a budget, I'll show you how easy it is to strip these to bare metal. You could do that yourself prior to taking it to the shop. So, do some of it yourself if you can. Don't be scared to try. I mean, it's an old car. You're going to paint it anyway. How bad can you actually mess it up by attempting to put some work into it? So I'm going to show you these panels and what I'm talking about. So here's a fender, and this is kind of what I'm talking about. This is what I've been seeing on some Facebook pages. Hey, my car's at the body shop. They got it sanded. It's ready to paint, prime and paint. So if you see these spots, like right in here, if you run your hand over something like that, it's going to have what's called a bullseye when they prime it. So if they don't block sand it prior to painting, basically you're going to see all that. So if they take the time to block the car correctly after they sanded it like this, they should just take the extra step. Because literally the door that I've done today, I worked on this door for like 25 minutes, and it had been painted like, I think, 3 or 4 times. And, I use a DA. I don't know if you know about a DA sander. You can put it on grinder mode with 80 grit and strip it to bare metal pretty quick. And also, a lot of times, some of these cars will have stuff hiding. Like I said, this car had some front end damage at one time. He had hit a deer. So right through here, if you see these little dents, and you see this pretty body line right here, prior to me sanding this fender, this fender had Bondo filler from here to here to fix these little dents that you see right here. These are just minor, small dents. So a lot of stuff is hiding under your paint that you don't know about. So I cut all that old filler out, and you see how minor those dents are. I can fix that with just skim coat and a little bit of primer. And they had the panel, literally what I sanded the middle there, this was filled with Bondo from here all the way around to here. That was all filler that didn't need to be there. So that's what I see people paying for. Now I understand you might think you're getting it cheap, you know, because they're just kind of making it look good and, you know, it's acceptable. But my theory is if you're going to do something, save up a little bit or put some work into yourself and kind of do it right. You know, I'm not knocking guys that are on a budget, and some guys' standards to a good paint job is not somebody else's. So here's the door that I'm working on. So here's the first step. This right here that you're looking at, this is all 80 grit on a DA turned on grinder mode. It doesn't leave any bad marks in the metal at all. You know, don't push on it hard. Now keep in mind, this door had been painted, I think 3 or 4 times, and it had some touch-up paint. I think when I was overseas, some other stuff, I think he got keyed or something like that. So this door had a lot of paint on it. So I stripped this door to bare metal, as you can see. Now this is the second process after using the DA on grinder. I'll put the DA back on regular sand mode and just go back over it with some 80 grit. Bare metal, literally, I promise you, I've been working on this door for, I think, 40 minutes. Now, some of these shops, you know, they're going to sand a door that's been painted 4 times with 220 and have high and low spots everywhere and spend an hour sanding that door. Then they got to prime it. Then they got to block it. When in all actuality, if they took the time to just strip it to bare metal, etch prime, 2K primer, block once, it's done. And it's done correctly. Now, some of these shops, you know, I understand most of them don't want to do this kind of work anymore. So that's the big problem, finding a shop that wants to do this kind of work and do it correctly. Now this is the driver's door. This one's finished. Did it exactly the same way. I blocked it one time. There's, I think, one small spot up by the door handle I'm going to block one more time, but that's about it. We go to the door, the car, the roof, same way. Pulled all the glass out. Quarters on this car were super straight. I think there's a video prior to that. So, not trying to upset any of you guys, because I know a lot of guys are doing cars like this right now. And if you make comments, you guys get a little sensitive. You know, the harsh reality is it's just as quick. I won't say quick. It's just as effective and time effective to do one right as it is to do one wrong. You just got to find that shop that's willing to put in the extra effort. You know, I've been doing this for 30 years. And like I said, my way's not the way everybody does it. It's just the correct way. It's how it should be done on a car that's 40 years old. You know, you don't want to put new materials over paint or primer or filler that's 40 years old. And like the fender I showed you that was improperly repaired, that would have looked horrible if I had sanded that down and just painted it. The body line looked terrible. The body line was basically gone. Like if you look at the quarter that I just showed you in a video, the arch is nice and crisp because that's down to metal. All that's there is 1 coat of etch prime and 2 coats of 2K, blocked and reprimed. That's it. So again, this is just my opinion on paint body work. A lot of guys ask me how I do it and what my process is. And again, this is just my process. It may not be your process or your body shop's process. And if you can't afford to have your shop strip the car to bare metal, but I'm going to be honest with you, I can strip a door to bare metal, fix a couple dents, prime and block it quicker than I can, you know, do something halfway and have something that looks way better and will last a lot longer. So if you got any questions, you know, hit me in the comments below. Again, don't get upset. It's a hard topic to talk about because a lot of you guys are getting these cars done and a lot of you guys are on a budget. Buy a sander. If you got a shop that says, hey, I'm not willing to strip it to metal, it's easier to do it this way. Say, hey, what if I strip the car to metal and bring it to you? If you know your car's got a lot of paint on it and it needs to be taken down to metal, you know, take the time, spend a little extra money and have it done right. So that's just me on a rant. I appreciate you watching this video. Thanks to my subscribers. Click, share, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. I'm almost at 3,000, trying to get up to that next level. Once I get this door done and this fender, I'm going to work this tomorrow probably, maybe making a short video of priming and the etch primer I use and 2K and stuff like that. So again, You guys have a good evening, and thanks for your time.